I love that you treat that guy, Rob, really bad.
Robbie, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Rich, you're hilarious.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, that was terrible. I'm just going to sit in the corner and feel bad about myself for the next hour. Is that okay with you guys?
No. Why not? That's my prerogative. How is everyone?
Good. How were Rich and Rob, or Rob and Rich, or whatever their names are? And Matt. We had a great time in Rome recently, and we have some photos from Rome. Matt took a photo of Rob and sent it to him and said, "This photo was slipped under my door by security." And Rob was like, and now I just leave that to your imagination to figure out what it was. It's pretty funny. Phoenix. You guys, I just took my meet and greet outside. And I am not okay. It's so hot. How do you do it? What's the secret? Air conditioning. Stay inside. We are the cave people. It's so hot. And we were in the shade. What'd you just say? Oh. Fair enough. I left that opening. My bad. Oh, pizza. Boy, did that work. No. No, and I'll tell you why. Because that worked out so perfectly last year. Like, you can't repeat that. The timing was impeccable. That dude was amazing. I'm surprised he's not starring in, like, Marvel action movies now. He was amazing. We should have stayed in touch, because he was great. How many of you were here last year? Really, a lot. And if I'm correct, I think this is the last time we're in Phoenix, at least for a little while, right? Boo. Yeah, that's right. Let's have a riot. Okay. There's one person who's game for the riot. That's not a riot, it's just a vandal, and it's not nearly as sexy. Well, I actually kind of love it here. It's weird, like, it's so... No. Oh, yeah, no. You're good, Rich. I don't know how that happened. I'm just feeling bad about myself right now. Do you guys want to ask any questions?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Hi.
Hi.
So, growing up, I was kind of an odd child. My favorite song was Horse with No Name by America. Either that or Carry On My Wayward Son, which I love since I was like this tall. Growing up, what was your favorite song?
Maybe the Sesame Street theme song? I do distinctly remember, so we were deprived of television as children, and I remember when the Sesame Street theme song would come on, in the rare instances when I was allowed to watch TV, it would come on and I would be like, yes! Wow, fuck yeah! Sesame Street, you know, I thought it was super cool. Incidentally, I was not a super cool kid. We moved a lot when I was a child, so I was always in a different school, and I didn't really get to know the other kids very well, nor did I get to know popular culture in general. In fact, whatever my mom was into is what I thought was hip and cool. So I was listening to a lot of LPs from the late 60s, early 70s, and thinking that this was like the finger on the pulse of modern music. So it was a lot of like Joan Baez and Joni Mitchell and that sort of thing, which is it actually kind of holds up, but not all of it. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of kind of kumbaya stuff was my upbringing. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of like freaking out. But my question is, the camaraderie that you, Jared, and Jensen have on the show is phenomenal. Are you guys just as tight off set as you guys are on screen?
When you talk about camaraderie, do you mean like when they
Like
throw pies in my face? Is that what you're referring to? Maybe I don't understand the definition of that
Like,
term.
how close you guys are, like on set or on the show? Are you guys as tight? Maybe?
Are you asking if we're romantically involved? Like, what are you?
No,
What are you getting at?
friendship-wise.
We do gallivant. Yes. They live far away. They live in Texas. There's some Texans here, huh? Holy smokes. Hi, Texas. Good to see you. How many of you guys live in Austin? Do those of you from Austin, do you hang out at Jared and Jensen's a fair amount? Outside of Jensen's? Oh, you just stalk him. That's cool. That's cool. I get that. No, we do hang out. And by, we hang out, I hang out outside of their condo buildings and just sort of wait to see if they come out or go in. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Sometimes they do come out, like, to go for a run or something like that, and I'm like, oh, hey, Jared, what's up? I was just like, what? What? Oh, I fit in with the stalkers from Austin? Yeah. How many of you moved to Austin just to be closer to Jared and Jensen? Don't answer that. Actually, you don't have to answer that. That's fine. I know that all of you did it. Yeah, we do hang out. I think that that's one of the reasons that the show is actually a success, believe it or not, and that is not just saccharine palather. They set a great tone on set where everybody feels like it's a fun place to come to work. But we have also, outside of that, become friends. And yeah, I've never shared this before, but I'm somebody who writes down my goals, which, by the way, is a very effective trick if you're trying to get things done. Like, write it down. And every year, around New Year's, I write down what my objectives are for the coming year. And the year before getting on Supernatural, I wrote that one of my goals was I am a series regular on a series that I am proud of and am forming lifelong friendships with my castmates, which is a really strange goal to have, I think. But it totally came to pass. And I think that that's one of the reasons that the show is a success, that we really do enjoy being with one another. And I think that comes across. Yeah. And I hope that I don't say anything as sentimental as that ever again. But please, by the way, if any of you are like posting stuff on YouTube or something, can you just edit that part out? Just edit that out. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Misha.
Hi.
Hi. My question is from my little brother, Tommy. We both love you, and he wanted to know, how have Jared and Jensen affected your daily life even when they're not around? I mean, blame him, not my question.
Well, not in a positive way. I can tell you that much. We were in Rome. My son was about to turn, he was 1.5. And we went, this was at a phase in Vicky and my life. That's not the right grammatical construction, but I don't care. When we still thought like we could just bring the kids along and do what we normally do. And so we're in Rome, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and we're out at a fancy restaurant at dinner with West, who's miserable and just desperately wants to go to sleep, but we're just pushing right through that. And Jared introduced West to packets of sugar. West, to date, had never had candy, and he had definitely never had mouthfuls of raw, refined sugar. And it was like you could see the sparks coming out of his eyes. He was just like, this is it. This is, you could tell West's like pre-verbal mind was thinking, this is why I was put on the planet. And he went from being like kind of lethargic and just clearly wanting to go back to the hotel and go to sleep to running around the restaurant, crawling under people's chairs like it was a maze and going completely nuts. And Jared was like, and then he's such a shithead. And so that you can put on the internet, by the way. And then I brought West, I guess 1.5 years ago, I brought my son to a convention in Washington, D.C., and a twisted fan, brought up a giant gummy worm that was like this big around and that long, like disgusting. And Jared fed it to my son. So he definitely has influenced the course of my children's upbringing, and not for the better.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I'm really nervous. I just want to say you saved my life, so thank you. And my question was, we see, spoiler, we see Cass die in
Wait, who hasn't seen the season 12? Okay, please go to a different convention. Like, what? You haven't seen season 12 yet? What are you doing here? Seriously. You paid good money for these seats. Why? Do you want me? I'll tell you what happened. Do you want to know what happened? Everybody dies. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I forgot to say spoiler alert first. Okay, go.
We see Cass die, and I wanted to know, if, like, I've heard rumors that there's going to be a alternative universe Cass. I wanted to know, do you think that would affect the boys, like how far Cass has come from being, like, emotionally attached to humans?
Well, if there were an alternate universe Castiel, yes. I mean, if he hadn't come into contact with the boys, he wouldn't be the Castiel that he is now. But I don't know. Where did those rumors come from? Who is leaking this information? Because leaks, as far as I'm concerned, are the primary problem.
I've seen it on Twitter a lot, and, like, just around.
Twitter?
Yeah.
Well, if it's on Twitter, you can trust it, for sure. I, for one, get all of my reliable news from people at the top on Twitter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put too much stock in the rumors that you hear, or Twitter for that matter.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Hi.
Hi. So first I want to say you did an absolutely amazing job in season 11 portraying Lucifer. And
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
so I wanted to know what your favorite part of playing Lucifer was and what the most challenging part of playing Lucifer was.
I think well, the most challenging part was also kind of my favorite part. So the challenging part was that somebody else had kind of laid down the framework already, Mark Pellegrino. So I had a template that I had to follow, and I haven't done that really in a long time where I'm trying to emulate someone. So that was interesting and challenging and kind of cool. It was an interesting exercise. So that was challenging. But it was also kind of fun because in a weird way it just felt like it freed me up to do something totally different. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. People have asked me in the last year, like, what's your favorite version of Cass? What was the most fun to play? And I think it was Lucifer. So not Cass. But it was a lot of fun. It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Misha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Poor Castiel has had such a really bad season this year. I'm a huge fan of makeup artistry. I've done it for community theater. And what I wanted to know is, in the scene where Cass gets done by the lance and he's rotting from the inside out, were you really oozing goo, and what was it? Because that just looks so nasty.
That was so disgusting.
It looked disgusting.
There have been 2 times when I've oozed goo.
I'm sorry.
And I have 2 children to prove it. Shame on me. Good on you for shaking your head in disapproval. There's one woman in the front who's like, I'm not laughing, that's disgusting. Shame on you. I want my money back. And you should get it, actually. It was a really funny, kind of funny scene because I can't remember what the additive was, but there was something that made it black, but it was Alka-Seltzer. So I put a couple of Alka-Seltzers in my mouth along with some black dye, some black something. And then it was like, okay, put the Alka-Seltzer in your mouth, put this weird shit in your mouth, and then yell. And then it was like, now the camera's rolling, and I'm like, because it's like building up pressure in my mouth, and I can't hold it in. And I'm like, and then finally, like, action, and it's like, the stuff just comes pouring out. And it's just like running down my face, and it's super disgusting. There's something about it that was just really, really gross. And then, I know, that's how I felt. And then as soon as the director yelled, cut, Jared and Jensen and everybody else in the scene ran up with their cameras, and we're like, wait, let me just get a shot. So it was like they wanted to capture my misery for posterity's sake. The other time was season 7, the beginning of season 7, when the Leviathan were coming out of me, and I had this black goo coming out of my eyes, my ears, my mouth. That happened to coincide with the only time that I have ever had to stop production because of being sick. So, because there's 150 people that show up to work every day, we actors can't, like the idea of calling in sick for shooting is completely out. Like, it doesn't matter how sick you are. You can have 105 fever and you still show up at work. And I got food poisoning that day, and I was vomiting on set. And then I was like vomiting into a trash can, and then they were like, okay, so open your mouth.
Oh, no. Oh, you poor thing.
And putting black goo in my mouth and out of my nose and out of my ears, and then I would be like, And it was truly disgusting. So it was so bad that at one point they were like, all right, we're going to try to shoot around you for a little bit, so we'll shoot the other people and see if you can rest up in your trailer. I don't think I should share this. There was a moment when I was in my trailer and I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, but I don't know what version of having to go to the bathroom is more pressing right now. It was that bad. And I was in my trailer for a few hours, and then I came back to set, and I threw up in the trash can again. And then Jensen was finally like, you know what? I think we're going to call it for Misha today. He's done. Go home, Misha. But that was the only time I've ever basically called in sick for work, and it was awful. So thanks for bringing up that memory. Really appreciate it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hi. How are you? Oh, by the way, there are people watching online right now, right? Is this true? How do you know? Where's the camera? Hi, people online. How are you? There are people now watching these online. I forgot about that when I said that stuff about Jared and Jensen, so just keep that stuff on the DL if you could. Are we taking, I think we're taking a couple of questions from online too. I'm asking the camera, who doesn't respond. And if you guys, I think that they're also, Creation is also donating some money to Random Acts if people are tipping things. So if you have any interest in any of the things that are offered on the site, some of the money is going to Random Acts. And there are some questions here that have been texted to me that I'm supposed to ask. Do not talk about the goo. Shame on you. Okay. What is the most fun you have had on set? Is a question that comes from D.W. Scott, 1969. Trying to think if we've ever had fun. It is a weird set, I can tell you that. There are a lot of times when the director of the show will come out and be like, okay, guys, okay, all right, stop laughing and let's get back to work. We will ruin so many takes laughing that I can't believe Warner Brothers hasn't sent like the comedy patrol up to set. Also, we say super inappropriate things on camera, and if ever anybody wanted to ruin any of our lives, they would just have to dig into the archives of like material that's on the cutting room floor of Supernatural. The most fun, I guess this is one of those questions that's kind of like, it was the most fun and also the worst experience on set. We were laughing a tremendous amount on a day when Jared and Jensen were just relentlessly fucking with me while the camera was on me. When the camera was on them, oddly, they were really well comported. And then the minute it was my coverage, they would just be dicking around like little friends. And they were so bad this one day that we were shooting on location. This was when we were in like season, I don't know, something. And it was Cass's like Angel Army headquarters. And I was doing my very best to be a professional. And Jared and Jensen were trying to undermine me every step of the way to the extent that they people on set called people who were back at the studio in the production offices and said, you have to drive over here and watch this. It's amazing. And so people left the office, got in their cars, and drove 25 minutes to set to watch me be tortured. It was that bad. And I could not, I'm somebody who if you start, like if there's a joke, I'm going to laugh, period. And I can't not laugh in any circumstance. It's always been the case. I've had like laughing fits at funerals. It's terrible. Really. And so they came down and Jared and Jensen just kept going. And that was the day when I said, if they had told me in drama school, which I never went to, but then they jumped in front of the camera and said, he went to drama school. Anyway, it was really horrible. And it was so bad that the next day something unprecedented happened, which was that Jensen came up to me and apologized. Which gives you some sense of how bad it was. But it was also really funny. So that was the most fun and also the worst experience. Yeah, there you go. So that was an online question. I think that one of the things that we're doing is giving away anybody who makes a contribution or a tip is entered in a raffle to be signed up for Gishwiz. So if anybody, who has done Gishwiz here? Really? That's getting to be a large number of people. That's awesome. Great. Who's doing it this year? Yes, that's what I like to hear. And there's a table here also in the vendor's room if you want to go talk to the people there. They're doing weird stuff to you that doesn't represent Gishwiz at all, and I don't know who those people are, so I'm just disavowing them right now. Okay, you've been very patient. Are you coming to the show tonight?
Yes.
The concert?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
Promise?
I promise.
Promise?
Yes.
It's going to be a special night tonight. It's going to be special. Will you please ask your question? It feels like you're just like dragging this on and on and on. So.
I was wondering how has playing cast how has cast changed your view on like being an actor and stuff like that? Like how has it changed your acting career?
Well, it's changed my career a lot because it's the thing that has made my career. But, you know, I was talking earlier about my goals, about like wanting to be a series regular. And the reason that I wanted to do that was I wanted to have the opportunity to work on one character for a long time, just to get really comfortable with a character so much that it became sort of reflexive or instinctive. And I think that that's happened, and it's been great. It's just such a rare opportunity, and I feel super lucky to be able to get to play something for that long. To the extent that I feel like I really know this guy, like he's a part of me. He's weird, kind of like me, and that has been kind of remarkable, and so rare. I mean, nobody gets this opportunity to do something, to play a role for 10 years. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, it's changed. That has changed my acting a lot because it's just gotten me to be to a point where I'm really comfortable with a character and feel like I know it super well. I can read a script and know immediately if something isn't right for Cass, or figure out how to make it work with the character right away, and that's just something that you can't get unless you've been doing it for a long time, and unless you've gotten to know that character really well. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
How has Castiel changed you?
It's changed me to know that like to never stop believing on what you want. Cass has always been the one that's never gonna quit, and that's how it's changed me.
That's lovely. You know, that is definitely one of his qualities. You know that no matter what, he is always going to do what he thinks is the right thing. And you believe him. You know that he's not lying about that. Like, even if he's lying, he's doing it because he's trying to do the right thing. He's making bad choices because he's trying to do the right thing. And, yeah, and we know that about him. and it's kind of a lovely quality that he has. Yeah. I like him, actually.
So do I.
Yeah. He's very awkward. Very, very awkward. Cass started as this, like, badass, like, military character. And then I started portraying him, and the writers immediately changed him to just, like, super awkward. He went from super tough to just, like, maybe he's just a weird, nerdy dork. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Like me, did you just say? Thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. So you have been to many cons and have been asked many questions, but my question is, what is a story you've always wanted to tell and have never been asked?
God, that is not a question that I have thought about a lot. Like, God, I wish somebody would ask me about this thing, because I could always figure out a way to weave a story in, even if it didn't fit. I don't know. What do you have stories that you have never been asked that you wish someone would ask you about? You could always just be like, "Look, dude, I want to tell you this story." I've been telling my kids stories. So we at night we have this ritual where we read a few books, and then I tell a sort of true story about my childhood or something. And I have run out of stories. I don't have anything left. And there was a stretch where West only wanted to hear bloody stories. So he's 4 years old, and he wants to hear stories about, like, bloody, violent circumstances from my youth. And there were a remarkable number of them, which I won't share with you. Tell us another bloody story, Mish. Great comic timing over there, by the way. I don't know. Do you have any ideas for me? Any germs of?
Well, always love hearing about, fun stories with your kids or at home or your childhood.
Okay, that wasn't pretty useless. Well, all right, I'll tell you in broad brushstrokes about my childhood. I'm not paying for this, right? It's not like a therapy session.
You'll get the bill later.
My childhood was kind of interesting because my mom was very anti-establishment, and she was a real rebel, and gave us a kind of upbringing that was really irreverent, and I feel kind of lucky for that. Like we lived in tents, and we hitchhiked around, and we were kind of exposed to life in a very fearless way, which I think was lovely in many respects. And I try to, really, like my mom was like, you don't have to go to school if you don't want, and things like that. Or, if I wanted to, I could walk through the woods, 6 miles to school in the morning, or hitchhike home from school when I was 10, or things like that. It was almost like Captain Fantastic. And I do try to imbue my kids with some of that, but I also try to keep them much more safe than I was, because I feel like super lucky that I didn't die. But I think that there is something to just being free to explore the world without fear. And I think my mom did give me that, which I'm very grateful for. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Yes.
First, I adore you. And second, I know that you do a lot of charity and try to relax and do stuff, and you into knitting. And I'm
Did you say, and I'm into knitting?
knitting, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I was just wondering what your new project is. Do you have something going on now? And have you ever thought about asking people to do it for charity?
Knitting?
Yes. Or crocheting, any kind of handwork.
No, not crocheting. I'm a man. I knit.
Well, you can needlepoint too, you know.
I love that idea. I'm not gay. I knit. I am knitting a hat right now, but it's going painfully slow. My brother just had a baby, and I'm making a hat for the baby. And I actually just unraveled it, and I was like, all right, it's not an infant anymore. I'm going to have to make a slightly bigger hat. So that's how long my current project is taking, which I'm a little bit ashamed of. Do you crochet?
Yes, I do.
What's that like?
It's faster.
It's what?
It's faster.
Faster?
Faster, yes. And
I should be crocheting.
You're no kidding.
Why didn't anybody tell me this?
know.
Knitting takes so fucking long.
Oh, I can show you how to do it. It's very easy.
It's easy?
Yes, it is.
Well, then why does anyone knit? Knitting is a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
I hate knitting.
Yes, it is.
I knitted my children hats for Christmas this year. And it took a long time, and I put a lot of love into them, and then I embroidered their initials on them, and they lost them day one. I was like, where's the hat I made you? I don't know. Not only did they lose them, they didn't care. I know. Anyway, I put them up for adoption, so it's fine. Thank you. Hi.
Hello. Just wanted the opportunity to thank you for your charity work and to ask you what inspired you to get into charity work.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you, sir. I guess the fandom of Supernatural was a big inspiration for me. This was it was actually funny. It was another goal card thing for me. I remember the year that Random Acts started was the year that I had written, I want to become involved with a meaningful charity that I care about, that I'm passionate about. And there was an earthquake in Haiti, and then I put up a donation page on the UNICEF website and tweeted out to fans, like, donate for this, to help out after the earthquake. And immediately there was like a flood of donations, and it made me think, oh my God, there's really something in this fandom. Like, there's obviously so much creative energy and so much devotion to the show, and people really have bought into the characters and the storyline. But there's also this there's this drive to kind of build a community that's really supportive, and also to have a positive impact on the world that somehow this fandom has just imbued in it. And so that I worked with fans to start Random Acts, a long time ago, 7, 8 years ago, long time ago. But Random Acts itself, I think, there was a sort of germ for that for me, which was we were really poor when I was a kid, and there were, as I mentioned, like times that we were living in tents and homeless, and the kindness of strangers had a tremendous impact on our family. There was a time when we were camped out on the side of the road, and someone stopped and gave us a gift certificate to Abdow's Big Boy for $14 and bought us a motel room. And I remember that to this day, and at that moment, for like the idea of having $14 to spend in a restaurant was just like such opulence. Like it was so amazing. And I remember just like stuffing our faces on French fries and hamburgers. But I think that there is something to the idea of, there's something to the notion that a very small contribution that's not a big sacrifice from us can have a lasting impact on someone else. And it doesn't really take that much. So that's sort of like that was the germ for Random Acts, the idea that it doesn't take much to make a lasting impact on somebody else. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So, speaking about like West and Mason, I was wondering if you and Vicky still let them like cook dinner the same way that they did during the Cooking Fast and Fresh with West.
So I feel really dishonest about my parenting style because of those videos. Like, it looks like we just have this sort of free-for-all, and who cares? We'll just, like, clean up the kitchen for the next 3 days, and no big deal. But the truth is, like, typical day-to-day operations in the house are like, dude, what are you spilling that all over the place? Wipe that up. Like, you know, really monitoring the messiness that happens. We do like to let them have sort of free reign, and there is something to the notion that these guys, like, if a kid cooks their own food, they love it, no matter how gross it is. It's really true. It's kind of remarkable. So we do let them have some free reign in the kitchen, but we're not nearly as liberal as we come across in those cooking videos. I'm sorry to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel really dishonest about that.
It's okay.
The first Cooking Fast and Fresh with West video was totally born of an organic experience, though, which was that we would go to the grocery store with West, and we'd come home, and there would be things in our grocery bags. We're like, honey, did you put pig's feet? Like, we don't usually eat pig's feet. Why are those in our grocery bag? And West would just be like grabbing stuff and putting it in the cart as we were shopping, and we wouldn't notice it. And then we get home, and there would be this crazy stuff, and then we'd try to figure out how to cook it. And he also, from a very young age, just liked to like throw things in a pan. So we just kind of like, all right, well, we'll just let him take the reins here and see what happens. And he did eat a lot of food at the grocery store, which we did pay for, and I do feel bad about that. Which he still does. I don't think we've ever told him, honey, you know you have to pay for that before you eat it, because it's Brussels sprouts, and like you're not going to stop it. You're like, just wait until we weigh the Brussels sprouts. If a kid's going to eat raw Brussels sprouts at a grocery store, you just let him. Which he still does, by the way. I don't know why, but he still does. Hi.
Oh,
thank you. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Excellent question. We kind of fantasize sometimes about moving somewhere really far away and exotic where there's no cell service. Where? Australia? Did you say Australia? Yes. I do believe they have cell service in Australia. I'm just saying. I don't know. Yeah, like the steppe of Mongolia. There's this movie called The Last Eden, I believe, that's about like Mongolian, living on the Mongolian steppe, which I love. So I kind of like the idea of that. Horses, yurts, that sort of thing. What about you?
Probably Hawaii.
Hawaii? Where are you from?
North Carolina.
Have you been to Hawaii? Yes. Where in North Carolina are you from? Oh, nice. My wife wrote an ethnography of a trailer park for her bachelor's thesis paper. And when we went and lived in a trailer park in North Carolina for a summer, and I worked in a fiberglass factory, and it was truly awful, but very beautiful. Have you been to Hawaii? No. Okay, you should go before you decide to move there. Just a tip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. First, I want to thank you for everything that you do and for spreading so much kindness. And
Thank you for your kindness. I'm blushing now. I feel uncomfortable.
And my question is, what's been your best experience from being such a large and important part of Gishwas?
Gishwas?
Yeah.
There are times when I'm working on Gishwas when I think to myself, I'm just so tired and I don't have time and I don't want to do this anymore because it's a lot of work. And then I'll come to conventions and people will come up to me in the autograph line and they'll tell me stories about the things that have happened to them because of Gishwas. Like, I now live with my best friend who I met on Gishwas, or I got married to somebody who I met on my Gishwas team, or I was agoraphobic and hadn't left my apartment for 3 years, and then I did Gishwas, and now I am out all the time. Or like, I just hear all of these amazing testimonials from people, and when I hear them, I'm like, oh, shit, so I have to keep doing this. I've just heard so many stories from people who have done it, who have had great experiences, and that's one of the things that keeps me wanting to keep doing it. And then there are things like I have a huge ego, so breaking a bunch of Guinness World Records or getting a mountain on Mars named after Gishwas is also like very satisfying to that aspect of my personality. And then finally, the thing that, and this is for sure the most important thing, is that there are so many photos that come in from, I write a lot of the items I write, and in particular, the items that are asking people to do extremely humiliating things. Those come in, and those just make me laugh and laugh and laugh at people's misfortune that I have caused. So maybe that's why I keep doing it, if I'm really being honest. There's this one image, and it's just like burned into my mind. The item was cover yourself completely in cotton candy. And then cover your face, except for your face, but cover your face in lipstick. And there's this image of this poor like teenage guy who's just covered in pink cotton candy, and he's obviously not wearing clothes under it, and it's just like melting onto his skin, and his face is red with lipstick, and he's standing in front of his closet in his bedroom, and somebody's taking a picture of him, and he looks utterly miserable. Like, it basically looks like being tarred and feathered. It's just awful. And I saw that photo, and I just started laughing. And then I remember this was the first year of like real Gishwas, and I remember bringing the photo in on my phone and showing it to everybody on set and being like, isn't this amazing? Look what I've created. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have ended with that. I should have ended with something more moving. Hi.
Hi. I'm an aspiring actress, and I was wondering, what do you do to focus and stay in the moment in a scene?
So there are a lot of things that you can't anticipate when you're in like acting class at school or something like that. One of the things that's really important is you like very likely will wind up on a set on a TV show at some point where you're in a scene and you're shooting, and one of the other actors is, for example, trying to tickle your balls with a broomstick. And really, nothing can prepare you for that. It's kind of amazing that the stuff that crops up in the real world is very different from what crops up probably in school. Although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe now they're teaching classes on that. I love the idea of like an acting MFA program where they're like, okay, great, good work, John. We're going to do another take on this one. And this time, I'll be tickling your balls with a broomstick. And I want you to convey the same emotion this time. Thank you for that question.
Thank you for the
Yes.
advice.
Hi, I was wondering what's your weirdest fan experience outside a con?
What's my weirdest fan experience outside of a con?
Yeah.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. I think that I don't know. This story is really not about me, but I'm going to tell it anyway. It's Jensen went in to buy a charger. Do you know this story?
No.
Jensen went in to buy a charging cable in an Apple store, and went up to the desk and said, "I need a charger for my iPhone." And the girl behind the desk was like, "Oh my God." And he was like, Jensen, he was like, and then, because he thought that she was just like, "Oh my God, it's Jensen." And she said, "Turn around." And he was like, "Okay." And he turned around, and behind him, one of her co-workers had been working on a Gishwiz item, which was a portrait of Jensen Ackles in Skittles. And so he turned around to see a portrait of himself in Skittles that was undeniably him. Like, he looked, and he was like, "Oh! Oh!" And so that was not mine, but it was his, and it was really weird. He was like, "What is happening in my world that's happening?" That's Jensen's voice, by the way. That's how he talks. When he's not doing Dean, I don't know if he's ever done his real voice. He's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. It's so weird. Oh my God." I love it when me and Jared and Jensen imitate each other, because I'll do Jensen. And Jared does me. Hi.
Hi. So I recently, well, not recently, a few months back, I heard the podcast you were on with your neighbor in Bellingham.
Oh, yes.
And my question is, would you ever, after the show ends, would you ever consider doing a podcast? And if so, what kind of podcast would you do?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Why? Are you a producer of a radio program?
No, I'm
okay,
just a
so,
college student.
This is going nowhere. Is there an opportunity here?
I mean, there can be.
I like the idea of a podcast. I have a bunch of ideas of potential shows. I have a great idea of a kind of documentary series show that I can't tell you about because it would ruin it, but it would be so great. That's so annoying. I hate it when people do that.
Just avoiding the question.
I have another idea. I have an idea for a show that I think would be really fun, which is to tackle impossible projects and just see if you can do them. And then I think here's one that I think would be a really good podcast. It's called What's for Dinner? And you just show up at people's houses in strange neighborhoods at dinner time and invite yourself in for dinner and record the experience. Wouldn't that be phenomenal? Wouldn't you listen to that?
Yeah, I
Can I help you, sir? Yes. What's for dinner?
would. I mean...
Nothing for you, you freak.
I mean... I make a
Have you ever been threatened with... Has anyone ever threatened you with a shotgun?
I live in Oklahoma.
Yeah?
But, not yet.
Not yet?
No.
It's happened to me a few times.
Oh.
One time, hi you guys.
Hi.
Hey, Rich.
Huh?
One time, me and my friend Darius, we were 18 years old and we were on a bike ride together, and we were filling up our water bottles in someone's. We stopped on our bike ride. We were riding for days, hundreds of miles, and we stopped to fill up our water bottles at someone's spigot, and in their yard, kind of not in the front yard, kind of in the backyard. It did look like we were breaking and entering. So anyway, this guy comes out with a shotgun, and he says he's going to shoot us. And we asked him to pledge to save the rhino. We said that we were riding for the rhino and we're collecting pledges, and would he like to donate? And it immediately turned the tables. And he put down his gun, and he was like, no, I don't have any money on me right now. You know, I can't. It was like the only thing more powerful than a weapon is asking somebody to donate to save the rhino. He got so uncomfortable. It was great. So anyway, that's a tip for you if you ever want to use that.
I've never had a gun pointed
What's that?
I've never had a gun pointed at me, but I've been just whenever I was little with my cousin, someone
You would occasionally stab each
no,
other.
No. No,
we did use nerve gas on one another.
Oh my gosh. No, someone threatened to call the police on us one time for trespassing. But
For trespassing?
Yeah.
She did air quotes.
Yeah, trespassing.
Breaking and entering.
I was
stealing all their stuff and driving away in their car. I mean,
yeah, you know, it's no big deal.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, great talking to you.
Yeah, great talking to you too.
Take your last question.
Okay, Robbie.
Take it now.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Paulina. I'm from Mexico, so I can really pronounce some words.
You have excellent English.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you. Gracias. Gracias.
Revolución de los aguacates.
What's that?
Revolución de los aguacates.
All right.
Yes.
Knock it off.
So, if you were a singer, what genre?
What
would
genre?
Yep. Would you sing, and what will be the name of your first album?
I think I would be, what would be the name of my, if I were a singer? How do you know I'm not a singer? That's offensive, frankly.
Boys,
I'm sorry.
give them a little music. Let's hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, now presenting for the first time ever, the hottest track from his new album coming out. I'm not going to tell you what it is. He's going to surprise you with that. Here it is, the hit single, the one that's rocking it right up to the top of the charts. Tom Welling. Take it, Tom.
Rich and Rob, or Rob and Rich. Who knows who and which is which? I don't care and we don't know. I think it's time to go.
You heard it here first. Singing his hit track. Robin Rich, which is which? Stephen Amell. Put your hands together. Supernatural. For Tom Hiddleston.
Robin, Rich.
Yep.
Rich and Rob.
One is clean, the other's a slob. Rich and Rob. Bob and Dick. One has pills up his butt. Oh, that make him sick. Yeah, I said it. Rob got a drug problem, and it's your butthole. Butthole. Songs in the key of B-hole. The new record coming out from Misha and/or Collins. Wow, that was something. Good question. That was good stuff, Robbie. Now it's time for you and the band to go, shower, shampoo, and shine for your big show tonight. I mean,
We're taking pictures and then yes.
Saturday Night Special happening right here on this stage tonight. Don't miss it. You will be sorry if you do, because it'll be the talk of the water cooler tomorrow, and you won't know anything about it because we're not going to tell you if you don't show up.
And we won't tell you where the water cooler is.
In fact, we could do with a water cooler around this joint.
Yeah, we could.
You're doing photographs right now, Robbo?
We're doing photographs with the band and myself. And then we'll see you in a few hours for the Saturday Night Special.
Yes. Great day today, Phoenix. Awesome day. We'll see you tonight.
Thank you.